For the journal, I printed it out on one side. I then put it into the printer after the ink dried to print out the next side on the back. And then I just simply, did that for each of the journal pages. As you can see, there's some nice flowered images and autumn fruits. It's lined, so you can write, you can draw, you can even just put photos in here, which is nice. Beautiful image in the center that I really liked of this gorgeous woman picking apples. Some nice vintage elements to it, some fall elements to it. And then we continue on with additional pages, some lined, some not. I chose just to do a thinner journal because if I want to do another one, I can always print it out and add it in at another time. There's definitely enough room in the pocket we made. So now it's just binding these together, and that is really simple. To do that, I am going to just take a poker tool, make sure my pages are aligned, and I've already folded them and burnished that edge with my bone folder. And, these can be evenly placed. They don't have to be, but if you have a craft mat like this, you can always line it up, and you see that that's 8 inches, obviously, because it's 8.5 by 11. That was trimmed down a bit to get rid of the excess along the sides. So we'll go ahead and just poke some holes in there. I'm going to do 1 inch above. Get that poked. 1 inch down from the top. Right there on the seam. And then I'm just going to do one kind of what looks like in the middle. And that'll be perfect for what we need to do here. So just poke that. All set with that tool now. And for binding it together, I'm just going to use this clear, it's called illusion cord. It's kind of like just a thin fishing line. It's a like an acrylic type of thread. And, that way you don't really see it that much. So it does kind of hide itself, and it's strong, so it'll keep it together. So I'm just going to take a pretty good size piece of this and run it through the holes. Make sure that I go through each hole probably twice and then tie it up. So I will show you what that looks like. Okay, so I ran that through, and it's tied at each end, and it does a good job of securing it, and it's strong, which is nice. If you don't like the look of that, which, honestly, it's pretty transparent. You don't really see it a lot unless you look closely. But if you don't like this and you wanted to more tie in the look of the twine from the cover, you could do that too. You would probably need to make a little bit of a bigger hole, maybe use a 3-hole punch and punch the holes in. But you'd be able to do that too. The benefit of this see-through twine is that string is that it's not too bulky, and then that will just fit right there in our pocket. So next is I want to make the little butterfly journal that I have in mind, and here are the butterfly cards. They're really pretty, and I printed them out the same as like the pages. You print out one side and then you put it in so it'll print out on the other side. So what I envision is cutting them at the edges like that, but I'm going to leave this bit of white in between because I'm actually going to use that as part of a fold to go ahead and kind of form it into a little book. And I'll also use that space for putting the twine through, or maybe actually even lace. Since there's lace here, I think some lace going through would actually look really nice. So I'll use lace to bind it together. So I'm going to start by getting these cut down to the size I need. Okay, so I cut them down so that the two tags are, side by side like that, and then there's 2 on the other side the way I printed them. And then I just put all those together, and they, as you can see, form a nice little book. and I want to focus first on getting the structure of the book done. And what I would like to do is take some antique linen, and I want to run it just along. I don't have to cover up all that white. I just want to get it on, kind of like on that edge, and then around the edges here. So I'm actually going to go through and do that on each one, and then I'll show you the next step. So that's all set. And you know, as I was cutting, my blade is getting a little dull, and it did leave some little bits of paper up on the, you know, on some of the sides. But I like that. Again, it adds to the kind of the vintage look of it. So I have the pages now, and I'm going to use a punch, and let's put one right here. Let's do the same from the top. And that's as far as it fits down. So what I'm going to do for the middle is just go kind of in the middle and not go all the way, just to get a half and a half. That might be a little tough. Let's see. I got it. Okay, so now all set with the punch. I'm going to choose the lace that I want to use on this and run it through, going through each at least twice to get it bound up, and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so I chose a thin lace, thin in regards to the width, just to make it easier, and I cut off a pretty good size piece. Even if I have too much, I can always save it for scrap to use on something else. So I'm going to start by just putting that through there, and I want to keep just a little bit off to the side for tying later. And now I am actually going to come through, and I want to bring that in through the middle so that when I tie it later, I'm going to tie the other end coming through at the middle hole as well. So I want to make sure there's going to be enough there. And if I run that through now, it'll help it stay in place. So there, that's a pretty good amount for trying to tie a couple of knots. So now I'm just going to take this, and I can also run it through this hole here. And, you know, there's no, you know, I suppose there is rhyme or reason. People who are sewing experts may, you know, say, oh, well, I would do this. I'm not a sewing expert. I'm just here to try to make something that looks nice and will stay in place. So that's I pulled the wrong one through. Let me fix that. Do that one, and then I'll do the other one. There we go. Now that one's in place. Now I'll bring this one through. You learn as you go. And again, there's no rhyme or reason, no right way, no wrong way, as long as it's going to tie, and as long as it's going to keep the little book secure. That is all that matters. Use your fingers to help pull through holes and help guide you along. And it always helps if you just kind of like close up, bunch up that end as you put it through. I suppose some people may use a needle for something like this. I don't know if there's one large enough for lace per se, but you know, I guess if there is, then you could certainly do that. Pull this one through. I'd like to see if I have enough to go around one more time, just to make sure that it's really secure and strong. Sometimes my fingers don't want to don't want to do what it exactly is I want them to do. Do you ever have that problem? Especially as I get older. So that one's still on the outside, that's good. Now I want to come up this way, and this will be the last time we work our way down. There's a lot happening in that center, so if you want, you can actually skip going through the center hole this time, and I'll show you the reason why. We can then bring this down to help give it maybe a little bit more coverage and a uniform look. Bring this one down through the bottom hole. Again, these darn fingers. There we go. And then this way, what we can do is we have that piece waiting for us. We can bring this one up through the center now. So it eliminates a little bit of congestion in that center, but it also is going to allow us to have both ends on the outside of the center for tying. And if you're not interested in this part, I understand. You can always just fast forward a little bit because I am almost done with it. Yeah, I just want to kind of arrange it nice. So I'm going to bring that one over. I want it above that one. There we go. So that when I tie the knot, it'll be right on top there. You could tie a bow if you want. That would look cute. Bow goes with a butterfly, why not? Just make sure you tie it real tight. You can even leave some little edges there too. Whatever you'd like to do. But there, our little mini butterfly journal is now bound. And you can use it, oh, I have it upside down. You can use it for just a book. You can further decorate it with some, you could do some cut flowers or stamping or, you know, whatever, or just leave it as is and enjoy the beautiful pictures of these butterflies. There's so many nice different ones, especially these that look torn and pieced together, but that's just a cute little additional piece. Now we're going to create, decide where we want to put it in our overall album and create the pocket for it. So I'd like my butterfly book to go onto this particular flap, and I had cut this out of some of the other images that were in the kit. Really pretty. Then what I did is I went ahead and cut, so this is about 4.5 inches wide. So I cut this to 4.5 by 2.5. And there's one of two ways that I can do this. I can either leave it like that, or I can cut it diagonal, because all you need is just something to tuck it into. So I think I'm going to cut diagonal. So I'm going to, for that, grab my guillotine cutter, and I'm just going to line this up so that I have, let's see, how am I want it to cut like this. So yeah, up on the edge where your blade is. Hopefully you can, I'm going to move the album so you can see a little bit better. You're going to line one point up on the edge there and the other. And that looks pretty good. Hold that, cut down, and you have two pieces. Those are basically around the same size. That's good. So I like that because this way, when the butterfly book is not in use and it's tucked in there, you can kind of still see some of that flower when it's out. So I'm going to adhere down the image first, get that centered. I'm then going to use double-sided foam tape to get that adhered down. And as you can see, we know that that size is good. You'll be able to have that double-sided foam tape along here, along there, and that will keep it in place. So those are my next steps, and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, so the page is down, and I did 2 layers of the foam tape, and I checked it before peeling off the backing, and the butterfly book does fit in there. I am, as with the other one, going to just add some extra insurance to making sure it's going to stick by putting some glue down on there as well. That seemed to, that really made the other one pretty sturdy. Now that it's dry, I checked it, and it's good. And now you can place this wherever you'd like. You can do the corner down here, you can go up here, which is what I think I'm going to do. And what you can also then do is, you know, I wanted to show you the structure of making this, but now you can also use your distress inks and add some aging to this. And as you go through and you decorate, if you have pieces of lace, don't be afraid to even cut off some more and use your scraps and even, like, you know, add them in like that. That will look really nice. It's whatever you like, whatever you think is going to appeal to, if it's for you, obviously yourself, but if it's for someone else, or even if you're making this to sell it, whatever you think is going to appeal the most. Everybody has different ideas about that. But that fits in there nice and snug. I had thought about doing a 3rd layer of the foam tape, but then I realized it might be too loose, but that fits in there perfect. So now that's done. So what I'm going to do now is go through. I have other images that I want to find homes for because they're fall, especially this one. I absolutely love that with the trees and the path. So I'm going to find homes for these, and I'll come back and I will show you how I finished up my inside of this album. I'm not going to, I may not decorate it all the way because I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this, if I'm going to give it away. But either way, whether I keep it or I give it away, I'd like to leave some space for further decoration, further, you know, putting it together and making it my own. And one other tip, and you may want to do this now, or you can always do it at a point in the future, but if you want to add more flaps here to come out, you could have them with like about a 1/2 inch. You could have one opening that way, one opening this way for, you know, further decoration. If you want to add another flap to have another journal, you can do that now, or you can just leave that space for future expansion. The other reason for having that space was, there was to make sure that regardless, whether those are there now or in the future, or when you put your journal in, that there's enough space for everything to still fold nicely. So I'm going to go through, finish mine up, and I'll be back to walk you through it. So I finished going through and doing kind of like my first round of just base decorating on the album. I didn't want to finish it. There's still a lot more that can be done to it. I want to allow either myself or someone I may give this to be able to take that next step with it. So let's open it up, and I will walk you through what I've done so far. I love this particular scene, and so I put a sentiment strip there that says, "Always take the scenic route." On the inside of that is some beautiful a floral image with a sentiment of make a difference. Embrace the journey on this beautiful farmhouse out in the country during autumn. Really beautiful. I also did stamp a little bit of writing onto the picture. Did the same thing over here. I didn't want it to stand out too much. I just wanted it to be subtle. There is beauty and simplicity. This is left to decorate. Do your best. Written down here. Those fold up. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. I took some stamps of leaves and used some gold and rose gold and some green pigment ink and stamped it onto that. Be open to whatever comes next. I added just a little bit of a light stamp of an image with some gold pigment. It's like a paint almost. And you can use that for decorating whatever you'd like. Today is full of possibilities. Added a pocket with some lace around it. It's blank, so you can do whatever you'd like or put whatever you'd like in there. Then we have our butterfly page, use your wings. I added some lace around the pocket, little butterfly sticker, another sticker down here, W.P. Collins, Natural History and Scientific Bookseller. Thought that was appropriate given the butterfly book that we have here, and a little butterfly poster of various different species. And then we have our beautiful butterfly book that goes right in there that you can choose to do whatever you'd like with. Let's go to the center and the picture I love. Darling, you are a work of art. And this truly is. I just love this picture. And again, you can add pockets if you'd like. There's anything you can do. I actually plan on just keeping that as is because I love that picture so much. Over here, we have start each day with a grateful heart. A little bit of writing stamped over here. And this picture of the girl out picking apples. Do what you love what you do. I have this, I believe it was from, it's from a package of different gardening ephemera and Gardener's Chronicle. I figured that would be a good piece to put there, and I just did some light background stamping on it. Collect beautiful moments. I mean, what more? And I put some flowers there as well as some lace around the pocket. What more can you do with a nice journal than collect beautiful moments? Use it for pictures, use it for writing, use it for whatever you'd like. Choose to shine. I did some more stamping with leaves and pigment ink, but then I cut these out using a die and some of the copper paper. I think that's really pretty and very fall. Live, create, tell the story. That would be a beautiful spot for a picture, beautiful spot for vision board. Put some vision pictures there. Travel the world over to find the beautiful. That's exactly what she's doing during autumn. Put a little bit of writing there as well. It's always the small pieces that make the big picture. This could also be a beautiful spot for a vision board. I put a little bit of just some background stamping on there. Over here we have Be You Bravely and picture of this beautiful woman. And everything has beauty. And another picture very similar to this one back here, just very pretty. And it's true, everything does have beauty. And so this is now complete. We have that stamping on the back. You could put more there if you'd like. But the base album is complete, and it can now be worked on for making it my own, making it your own, and really making it special. As you can see from this top side view, there's plenty of room for expansion, so you can make those additional tabs and put them in there. And this is nice and sturdy. This is something that can last for a long time. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for sticking with me through it. Again, please go visit the Gingerbread Prints Ko-fi page, the Etsy page. You'll find these kits there. Purchase them. You won't be sorry. They print out beautifully, and they're just full of so many beautiful images, and you can honestly just make so many different things with them. Till next time, be well.